Hi and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the Kozmo support in Breakers of Shadows. I know it's a little bit late to the game, but I personally don't care. I want to talk about these cards because I love Kozmo and I'm definitely going to keep playing them even if people say they are shit. I mean, I see a lot of people out there saying that this archetype is not as good and it's not the best archetype. But who cares? I don't want to play the best archetypes. I only want to play archetypes that I enjoy playing, so yeah. Personally, I don't mind this archetype becoming cheaper. The cheaper the archetype becomes, the better it is, because easier to pick up the cards. So let's talk about the cards then. The first card we're going to talk about is Kozmo Delta Shuttle. This card is a Dark Machine effect, level 5, 2000 attack, 2000 defense. And its effect is, once per turn, you can send one Kozmo monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then target one face-up monster on the field, it loses attack and defense equal to the sent monster's level times 100. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one level 4 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck. And yeah, this is what I don't like about the new Kozmo support. It is rather weak. I mean, I think there are 3 cards that are good, and I think there are 2 cards that suck. I mean, just good, not amazing or anything, just good. This is one of those cards that just sucks. I mean, maybe you can run one copy of it, I don't know. I personally think that it should have been like 300 attack times the level or something like that. Because then you could just, yeah, then you could have sent like a level 2 or 3 Kozmo monster and still would have done something to the attack of monster. But if you only get times 100, you have to send one of the big ones to the graveyard, and you don't want to send the big ships to the graveyard. So I don't really see a point of this card, because it is just times 100. If it was times 200 or 300, maybe, but it's just times 100. So I don't see why you would play this card. That's just my opinion of it. So if you want to play it, fine. I don't see any reason to play this card, but maybe one copy if you want to be fancy, but I just don't see a point. I don't see a point. It's just 100. It's so small. It's insignificant. The next card is Kozmo Soartroopers. And this is another card that disappointed me, but yeah, let's go into it. It's a Dark Psychic, level 3, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. And this card is, during either player's turn, you can banish this card, special summon one level 4 or higher Kozmo monster from your hand. You can only use the effect of Kozmo Soartroopers once per turn. Once per turn, you can pay 1000 life points, then target one psychic Kozmo monster in your graveyard, special summon it. I'm not one of those guys to complain, but this card is so bad. I mean, it's 1000 life points. I mean, you already pay life points in the deck to activate the Wicked Witch effect, and that's 1000. But at least she protects herself when you do that. So she becomes almost indestructible when you pay the 1000 life points for her effect. In this case, you pay 1000 life points to special summon a psychic monster from your graveyard. I just don't see a point, because usually your monsters are gonna get banished anyway, so it's... I just don't see why. I just don't see why this card is even... I mean, I know why, because we have another card that's gonna be talking about next time. That's gonna be more clarifying why you would run this card, but I don't see a point anyway, because to be honest with you, it still isn't good. I mean, it's 1000 life points to get back a monster, and I think it's a little bit too much. And specifically because we have so many other monsters to run that are better. So yeah, it's bad right now. But if this card ever gets limited or something, maybe you can fit it in. But right now, it's just not. It's not top of the line, so to speak. So let's go to the next card. And this is Kozmo Tincan. This card is interesting. During either player's turn, you can banish this card, special summon one level 2 or higher Kozmo monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Kozmo Tincan once per turn. Once per turn, during the end phase, you can pay 500 life points, reveal 3 Kozmo cards with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand, and you send the rest to the graveyard. This is why the 2 first cards might see some play. Or the second card, Soartrooper, might see play. Because this card, you send 2 Kozmo monsters to your graveyard, or Kozmo cards to the graveyard. I personally don't see how many copies of this card you should run. I mean, maybe 2 copies, but yeah, I don't know. Like, this card also seems very weird to me. I mean, if you play a Kozmo build that you can run BLS in, you can technically run this card because you can put 1 dark and a light in the graveyard, so you can basically summon Blackluster Soldier, and that's pretty nasty because it's 3000 attacker. So it's not too shabby just for that play. But it does have some potential though. It does have some playability. I would say this card is among the better ones in the set. And you only have to pay 500 life points. I really wish Soartrooper was like 500 life points, because if you would, another alternative would be pay 100 life points times the level of the monster you want to special summon back to your side of the field. That could have been cool, because then you can special summon back a monster that's, of course, I think it's level 4 or lower. I'm gonna go back and look because I kind of forgot. Yeah, psychic type. So it does not the big ones. So at least level 4, you had to pay 400 life points for any of your level 4 ones, and 300 and 100 and so on to kind of get this. But yeah, that's pretty much. It should have been like the level wise, because if it was 100 times the level, you could have used Soartrooper. I think 1000 is a little bit too much. Maybe 1 copy if you want to be fancy, but I wouldn't run more than 1. This card, I don't know. Maybe 2 copies, 3 if you want to be fancy. I don't know. It's a pretty good card though. It's not super terrible. It's only 500 life points, and you can actually add 3 different cards with 3 different names. So that's cool. Then you can get some to the graveyard and stuff like that. And it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't really know how good Kozmo Tincan is gonna be, but it's interesting. Now we're gonna talk about the second best card in the set, and it's Kozmo Dark Eclipser. It's a machine, level 9, 3000 attack, 2600 defense, solid stats, and nothing wrong with that. Cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects during either player's turn. When a trap card is activated, you can banish 1 Kozmo monster from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 level 8 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck to your hand. The worst part about this card is, of course, the adding of a level 8 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck to your hand. But I gotta be honest with you, it's not super terrible, because you can actually add maybe a Kozmo Good Witch or a Wicked Witch, or possibly another alternative would be that you can add, of course, Tin Can or Strawman or Soartrooper. And then you can summon it next turn, so it can set up plays. That's where I think it's good with this card. It does have a pretty good effect because it works with Tin Can. If you send 3 different monsters to the graveyard, you can actually build up your graveyard with Kozmo Tincan, and you can negate trap cards with Kozmo Dark Eclipser. I wish it was traps and the spells. It would have been a lot better then, but it's just trap cards. So I think I would definitely run 2 copies of this card. I think 3 copies is a little bit too much, to be honest with you. I think when you run like triple Forerunner, triple Slip Rider, and triple Dark, Dark Destroyer, I think like 2 Dark Eclipser is what you should run. I mean, maybe even 1 copy, I don't know. I would run 2 though to begin with and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I might go down to 1 copy. But at least 1 or 2 copies of this card. It's not super broken, but it definitely works with Tincan and his effect to send send 2 Kozmo monsters. Of course, you can't add a spell or trap card. You have to add monsters to send the grab, because this card activates by banishing monsters. So it helps you to use this effect. So it might actually make Tincan better. So Tincan becomes a lot better with Dark Destroyer. It almost feels like you could build a completely different deck just surrounding these cards, but yeah, maybe. It could be fun to build another deck, you know, having to switch between. But I think that if Dark Destroyer ever becomes limited to 1 or 2, this is gonna be a really good card to have, just so you can actually, you know, have other big beaters in the deck. So it's not terrible, not amazing, but it's good. It's a good card. Solid stats, and it pretty much is what you would expect. It would have been a lot better if it was just summon a level 8 or lower from your deck to your... But I think that will become too broken, because then you could go from this to Dark Destroyer to Forerunner to Slip Rider and all the way down, and that would be a little bit too broken. I think this card is fairly balanced. The only thing I wished was that it could negate spell cards. That's the only thing I wished. That would have made this card a little bit better. But a really cool card. Tell me what you think about this card though. It's interesting. Now to the best card. And it's definitely Kozmo. Where do I even begin with this card? This card is so insanely fun. Insanely fun. I like the artwork. The artwork of all the cards are amazing. I mean, Tincan's artwork is amazing. Soartroopers is amazing. Delta Shuttle is amazing. Dark Eclipser is mind-blowing because it's so awesome. It really looks good. Just for that, I'm gonna get 3 copies of this card. I can promise you that. But just because I want this artwork, because it's so amazing. And of course, Kozmo. Amazing artwork. I really love this artwork. Plus, this is a spoiler because it seems like we're gonna get a Darth Vader type character in the next upcoming set. If you look at this hand, so that's gonna be really interesting. But this card is interesting in its own right, and it has a pretty good effect. Its effect for Kozmo is target 1 Kozmo monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, banish 1 card your opponent control or in their graveyard. You can only activate 1 Kozmo per turn. This card is good if you wanna basically counter your opponent a little bit. I mean, I would consider running 2, maybe 3 copies of this card. I don't know what the right number is. I think more than 1 at least. But just because you can target 1 monster you control, and then you can basically banish 1 card in the graveyard or that it controls. And say that your opponent attacks the monster stronger than your monster, and it can't be destroyed by battle, but it can be banished. It cannot be just destroyed by card effects, but it can be banished because that's not destroyed, it's banished. So you do definitely have some possibilities with this card. You cannot, I don't think you can add it with Tincan though, because it's a Kozmo cards, and Kozmo is a Kozmo. Oh, Kozmo. Yeah, maybe you can add this card, but you shouldn't do it. If you're gonna play this card, you should add 3 monsters. You could actually add this card. Really interesting though. But I find this card really interesting. I mean, at least I'm gonna try to run 2-3 copies of this card just to see how it works and how it's gonna affect the deck. But I think this is the most interesting card. Dark Eclipser, I mean, is definitely the second most interesting, and Tincan is the third. These two, I mean, I feel like these 2 cards they're just filler, you know, like any anime fan, this is just filler. It's just extra on top of what you get. So these are the 3 ones that I think are the best, and I think Kozmo has a lot of possibilities to become really good. Its effect is really good. I think this card, when I saw this card the first time, I was like, yeah, this card can be really good. These two, I was like, yeah, these two can work together to create some really cool combos. But these two, no, they can't do anything. So, tell me what you think about this card. I think this support is both good and bad and okay at the same time, which is kind of weird. Like, it's good, it's bad, and it's okay. So tell me what you think about this support. Comment, like, and subscribe, and see you next time.